and all that, whether the Congress can put up a good performance or not. In fact, all the assembly elections till 2024, Karnataka is
Yeah,
next. So whatever Congress does, it will be judged by that, not by these
true.
party polls. I mean, you can have a view, but all political parties do not have internal democracy.
Okay, Dr. Onika, so then what really was the intent of the Congress party? And the reason that I'm asking you is in terms of the immediate challenges for whoever wins this election, either Mallikarjun Kharge or Shashi Tharoor, as far as infighting in Rajasthan, state elections, Gujarat, Himachal, and the larger picture for 2024. Is the Congress already readying a game plan to tackle those very important and immediate challenges?
Absolutely right. And that's a factor where we all should be working towards it. No denying about that. But ma'am, let the person win. I mean, let's see who wins and who
Have you
comes
seen Congress
forward.
in Gujarat
Instead
recently?
of just deciding
Is
what
Gujarat
he'll become or
on the
not,
election map also?
let him take
Is
the
Gujarat
charge,
on the
and
election
then a
map? Is
roadmap can
Himachal
be
on the
done.
election map?
Congress always had a future,
They are
always
not
had a
on, they are
vision.
not
Unlike the
even on
BJP,
contest.
never had a vision. They talk about the dollar going up and the money
No, but
reducing,
ma'am,
and they say,
having a
oh,
vision on
so it
paper
goes
is
on.
fine, but
So
is that
BJP has
vision
no
actually turning into reality
BJP
is
has
the
no
question that
vision.
possibly the Congress needs to ask,
Ma'am,
because in
it
terms
see,
of the electoral
we can't
success,
have,
and I agree with the point that
so,
Rashid is making, that once
so
the
we can't,
Congress starts getting the electoral success, you will have other things falling into place. Post the loss that
absolutely.
they've seen in Punjab, look at an Aam Aadmi party. They're trying to increase their inroads. You already have a very aggressive BJP.
Uh,
They're already getting their top leadership on the ground as far as Gujarat is concerned. What is the
uh,
Congress doing?
All right, I would like to answer that. You see, ma'am, if they want to play event, if they want to have all the wrong narrative set, so be it. In the long term, this is not what the country is going to gain. I mean, we are right. We are here to win elections. We are not here to give sermons. But having said that, I mean, is it right to just play with the country and with the emotions and putting fake narratives of hate speeches, of not bother about inflation, not bother employment? Is that how you are going to move the country forward? And Nirmala ji goes abroad and says, "Oh, the dollar is rising." Just imagine the narrative
No,
these
no.
people are setting.
Let's
So
not
if this is
mix
what
the
it is going to be,
topics,
no,
Dr.
no, we're not
Onika.
mixing it.
The day we're
No, we're not
discussing about the economy, we'll give an invitation to the Congress party and we'll have a fair discussion. But sticking to
no,
the topic that we're discussing, RP Singh, how do you respond to what Dr. Onika is saying, that at least let the election conclude? Why are we already working with hypothetical situations? You know, let's have a clear winner. 19th is when we'll all know the winner.
We all know who the winner is, we all know what has happened, and we all know the message was already there. It's all through this remote control system the new president will work. As it worked, the Prime Minister worked. Did you ever heard Prime Minister utter a word when Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister? I mean, files used to go to 10 Janpads. File was cleared by 10 Janpads. We all know that. Everything was done by 10 Janpads. The coterie of the 10 Janpads used to decide what to do, what not to do. Same thing will happen now also. It's not going to change. Only thing is that just putting another pawn instead of another pawn. They tried on Gehlot, who revolted, the local Chhatar revolted against the dynasty. Now they have got another man to represent them. That's all what the Congress is. Ultimately, it's a dynasty which is going to run it. It's two Gandhis and two Vadras who are going to run the Congress. And they will decide what is the future of Congress. But ultimately, what Mr. Kadwai said, they are not getting into electoral politics. Where are they in Gujarat today? Where are they in Himachal today? They're not being seen in Himachal and Gujarat.
Okay. We'll really have to see how this plays out. As I said, 19th is when the Congress party will get a new president and also a non-Gandhi at the helm of the party. Will this actually pave way for change? Only time will tell us. Spokesperson of the BJP, RP Singh, continues to be with us. Congress spokesperson Dr. Ronika Mehrotra also now joining us. We have author Advaita Kala also on the panel, and we also have author and senior journalist Rashid Kitwai. Good to have all of you on the broadcast with us. Dr. Ronika, let me begin the discussion with you. The Congress from day one has been saying that this is a democratic process. We are a party that respect everybody. It's a fair opportunity that has been given. All that was fine till the time you had various party members and leaders who came out and openly supported Mallikarjun Kharge, indicating that this is somebody who has the backing of the Gandhis and thus is the favorable candidate. Doesn't that then completely negate the entire process of an election?
I fail to understand, if I am supporting somebody or B supporting somebody else, on what grounds can you say that if somebody is backed by so and so? Each delegate has his own secret ballot to vote for, by the way. And Each one to his own choice. And the party categorically said, if you want to campaign for a particular candidate, you have to resign from the post and you're free to do it. So each one.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. There's been yet another killing of a non-local in Kashmir. This time, 2 labourers from Uttar Pradesh were shot dead in Shopian. This comes after the tragic killing of yet another Kashmiri Pandit, R.K. Bhatt, outside his house. This year alone, close to a dozen Hindus and non-locals have been killed in what can only be called targeted killings. The question is, when will this stop? Do the Kashmir political parties need to stop patronising this kind of terror? Does the centre and the LG administration in Kashmir need to wake up to the reality that yes, Article 370 is gone and that may be a good thing, but all is not well in Kashmir? Not yet.
The valley of death strikes again as terrorists target Hindus and non-locals in Kashmir. The latest victims are 2 labourers from Uttar Pradesh, Manish Kumar and Ram Sagar. They were asleep in a tin shed in South Kashmir Shopian district when terrorists hurled a grenade inside.
शुपियान में टारगेट किलिंग का सिलसिला जारी है और हरमैन में जो रात के 1 बजे जो वाक़ा पेश आया वो इसी जगह पर पेश आया है कि वहाँ पे जो है पुलिस के मुताबिक जो हाइब्रिड मिलिटेंट जो था उन्होंने यहाँ से ग्रेनेड थ्रो किया और यहाँ पे जो 2 नॉन लोकल कश्मीरी मजदूर थे उन्होंने वो यहाँ पे सोए हुए थे.
The attack comes just 2 days after terrorists shot dead a Kashmiri Hindu, Puran Krishan Bhatt, outside his home in Shopian. In fact, Hindus and non-locals have become sitting ducks for terrorists. Government employee Rahul Bhatt was gunned down inside his office in Badgaon on the 12th of May. On the 31st of May, Rajni Bala, a teacher, was shot dead in her school in Kulgaon. On the 2nd of June, a terrorist walked into a bank in broad daylight in Kulgaon in South Kashmir and opened fire, killing Vijay Kumar, an employee at the bank. Make no mistake, these are not random killings. Manish Kumar, Ram Sagar and Puran Krishan Bhatt were all targeted by terrorists because they were non-locals or from the Hindu community.
हम रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं गवर्नमेंट से बार-बार 140 दिनों से करते आ रहे हैं. एलजी साहब से हमने यही दुआ लाई है कि हमें जम्मू से कश्मीर से जम्मू को ट्रांसफर किया जाए.
सिविल जान जो है हमारी बचाई, इतनी लाशें भर के आप वहाँ से लाएंगे?
ये आज की बात नहीं है. टारगेट किलिंग का सिलसिला वहाँ 1 साल से शुरू है. राम राज्य के हिंदू तबके बड़े-बड़े वादे किए जाते हैं सरकार की तरफ से. क्या ये है हिंदू राष्ट्र?
Lashkar-e-Taiba offshoot TRF has warned that attacks on so-called outsiders will continue.
तमाम मिलिटेंट्स जो हैं, मैं बार बार कहता था मैंने कि वो कश्मीरियों के हमदर्द नहीं है. तो मिलिटेंटों का और पाकिस्तान और पाकिस्तानी फौज को इस बात का एहसास ही नहीं है कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं.
पहले 370 से ये हो रहा, आज तो 370 नहीं है. मेरी क्यों मृत्यु हो रही है? इसका जिम्मेदार कौन है?
On ground, the fear and anger among Hindu minorities is boiling over. They don't want to become another statistic in the valley of death. So can the government wipe out terror from Kashmir once and for all?
Let's open this up to our guests. Shazia Almi, BJP national spokesperson, joining us. Ashok Pandit, filmmaker and activist. SP Waid, this former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir. Majid Haidari, senior journalist. And Ahmed Ayaz, political analyst, also joining us. Let me start with Shazia Almi. The fact is that from teachers to bank employees to business folks and now even non-local laborers, all of them seem to be targeted in what can only be called crimes inspired by hate. They were singled out for their religion. They were singled out for not being locals. At least a dozen of them have died this year alone. There is a feeling amongst the Hindu community there, the Kashmiri Pandit community there, that they are becoming sitting ducks in this larger jihadist terror warfare that has been unleashed in the Kashmir Valley. The question is, what is the government doing to protect them?
Well, we all know that the government has taken all measures, and they're also reviewing the operations that have been taking place and assessing the damages and what is happening to our Hindu brethren there. The fact of the matter is that this is we all know that this hybrid terrorist who was behind this particular attack, behind the 2 migrant laborers who were killed, and others, that this is actually a part of targeted killings, and it is a matter of great, I can't even say anger, but like deep sorrow that we are losing so many people there, and I think everything is being done, whatever is possible. But government is seized of the matter, and LG has been responding. The ADGP has reviewed the operation, so to speak. So I guess it is much more needs to be done. But I think the government is doing everything possible to contain this and to expose the masterminds across the border.
Ashok Pandit, from Rahul Bhatt to Amreen Bhatt, Satinder Kaur, Rajni Bala, Makhanlal Bindru, and this latest round in which PK Bhatt, Ram Sagar and Manish Kumar have been killed. Yes, there is a feeling that, this is in response to the normalcy that has come back to the Kashmir Valley, at least in terms of the number of tourists who are coming there. Business and livelihood seems to be coming back to a sense of normalcy. Is this elements from across the border who are instigating stuff inside Kashmir deliberately, seeking out these targeted killings so that there is a chilling effect? And are you convinced with what Shazia has said that the LG administration there is doing everything they can to protect as many people of the Hindu community, Kashmiri Pandits, as is possible?
Zaka, I'm really thankful to you for raising a very pertinent question. In all the shows I have been attending. It's really a very pertinent question because this is exactly the question which every Kashmiri Pandit and a victim of terrorism in Kashmir is asking. You see, for me, as a Kashmiri Pandit and as an Indian, I don't deny the fact that the intentions of the government is not there to set the things right. But today, my next generation, my people around, my parents, everybody around, every Kashmiri Pandit is asking one question, which you have raised very rightly, is that what has changed for me? What has changed for me? For me, nothing has changed. The way Poonam Bhatt was killed, the way Rahul Bhatt was killed in 2022, exactly in 1989, Tiklal Toplu was killed, Premnath Bhatt was killed, Neelkant Ganju was killed, Girja Tikku was raped. So, for me, for a Kashmiri Pandit, who is a true Indian right from day one and still is, for me nothing has changed. I am still the victim of terrorism. I have suffered the worst possible genocide. I have suffered the worst possible ethnic cleansing. It is one of the biggest human tragedies of the world, which this country till now had not recognized. Since 2014, things have changed. There is no doubt about it. But today, when there are more than 5,000 Kashmiri Pandit employees on the streets of Jammu, fearing for their lives, working in Kashmir, demanding for their relocation, I want to ask Shazia Elmi on behalf of BJP, why are they not being relocated? What is stopping them to be relocated? Are you using us as a proof, as a duck there, that I want to tell the world that Kashmir is absolutely fine, all the Kashmiri Pandits are living there, and you're not able to stop my killing? Because that's not possible. The day a terrorist decides to kill a Kashmiri Pandit or a Kashmiri Muslim who thinks he is an Indian, nobody can stop. No security in this country can stop some terrorist who wants to decide to kill, because they are target killings. Everybody who has been killed in their office, at their home. Things have changed, strategy has changed. So the question which you have raised, Zaka, is absolutely the question my entire community is asking. Every victim of terrorism is asking. There is an intention, there is growth, and let us not compare tourists with our killings, because tourists are going there temporarily, they are feeding them, they are giving them money. For them, a temporary stay is not an issue. For them, a Kashmiri Pandit who symbolizes India, who is who thinks, who creates, who says that he's an Indian. The presence of India in Kashmir is because of Kashmiri Pandits, and that's why they drove us out. So the question today to the government of India is, how will you protect the Kashmiri Pandit there, or anybody who thinks he's an Indian?
Let me ask SP Vaid Saab, as former DGP, I think Ashok Pandit has a valid point. I mean, there are about 3,000-4,000 Pandits who've been rehabilitated. Many of them are living in camps. There is a feeling among them that they are sitting ducks. They are being singled out for their religion. They are being singled out for either they are or non-locals are being singled out. The question that's being asked is there anything more that the administration, the law enforcement agencies, the police force there can do? Because let's face it, it's not a large population that needs to be protected. It is a fairly small number of people. But if they are being singled out and killed, like we've seen with Rahul Bhatt and Amreen Bhatt in this latest case of PK Bhatt and the two laborers, then the intention behind those killings is to send out a chilling effect.
Zaka, something is amiss. That's why these incidents are happening. It's not without any reason. And when particularly we know after last year's September meeting of the ISI chief, when after suffering repeated reverses while fighting with the security forces, since Operation All Out was launched, if you recall, 2017 when I was DGP, and then abrogation of Article 370 on 5th of August 2019. There, I think more than 1,000. I don't have exact figures at my tips, but more than 1,000 terrorist ranks have been eliminated. Their weapons have been eliminated. So they came out with this new strategy of targeted killings, and this low investment, high return type of strategy, where you don't lose your men, you don't lose your weapon, you use a small weapon, you use a hybrid terrorist who's not in the figure. You know all these things. I don't want to repeat. So they are going in for these strategies, and when we know, coming to the Kashmiri Pandit issue, see, when we know that they are the target and they would be targeted, there's no second thinking about it. And I think a comprehensive composite plan needs to be drafted. And we need to have Kashmiri Pandits who are staying in Kashmir Valley in a well-protected place, not that 10 families are living in a village in South Kashmir like Shopaiya or Kulgam, and you have a 2-8 guard. After all, those men have to go to the field, they have to go to their orchard, they have to go to the bazaar, they have to go to for their workplace. What is the mechanism of protecting them? So we need to have a secure accommodation for them, a secure place for residence, secure place of work. Teachers are working in villages. They are sitting ducks. I have no doubt a manager working in a remote rural village, rural bank branch, he would be targeted. So they need to be posted in areas which are where no one can enter without frisking, which are guarded. And what is the mechanism of their transport from place of residence to place of work? And those we can accommodate like this, properly secure, fine. Those who cannot be, I don't think we should sit in press this issue.
I want to ask Majid Hydari as well as Ahmed Ayaz. Majid Hydari first. You know, it's not just about the targeted killings, but that mindset. Yes, 370 may have gone, but there is a certain mindset which is being propagated by the Kashmir-based parties. Even today, a senior leader like Farooq Abdullah says that targeted killings in Jammu and Kashmir will not stop unless the centre holds talks with Pakistan. Now, I want to ask, sir, a very simple question. Why should India talk to Pakistan about something that's happening in Kashmir? 370 was removed for precisely this, that Jammu and Kashmir will always continue to be an integral part of India. And admittedly, like I said, the government really needs to also sit up and tell itself that yes, 370 may have gone, but it's not like all is well in Kashmir. But please explain to me, what does Farooq Abdullah mean by targeted killings will never stop until you talk to Pakistan? Either Farooq Saab is saying Pakistan is responsible for this, or then we need to deal with our problems on our own.
Well, certainly, Zaka Saab, it's not about the killing of two laborers, Ram Sagar and Manish Kumar. It's about depriving a nation of its hands, which have built India brick by brick, stone by stone, on every front. And it is what the idea of Honorable Prime Minister is about Vikas. So the people, the main force behind Vikas are the laborers. And we in India say that Mazdoor ka pasina khushk hone se pehle usko uski mazdoori do. But what these Mazdoor got in Kashmir was bullets, and they got killed. Now, before talking about Dr. Farooq Abdullah or Mehbooba Mufti or the neighboring country, let's look at one thing very important. We can't blame Manoj Sinha ji much for what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir because he's the third LG or governor to have been replaced in the last 4 years. But what about accountability of Jammu and Kashmir police? This year alone, we have held many debates where we said that, okay, now we need accountability. How many police officers were attached, transferred, or placed under suspension for dereliction of any kind of duty? No. And now coming to the point of neighboring country. See, sir, the BJP has been talking about the neighboring country. Shazia Almi Saiba will again talk about the neighboring country. But my government, the Indian state, has been silent. My government doesn't talk about that thing. My government holds 2 cricket matches with them. It distributes sweets on the Independence Day. It goes for trade with them. Our Honorable Prime Minister writes a letter to his counterpart in Pakistan over the flood situation.
Majid Saab, Majid Saab, let's be very clear about certain facts tonight. There is a terror factory that operates from across the border. There is absolutely no two ways about it. There are foreign imported terrorists who have been wreaking havoc in Kashmir. Not just, this is not yesterday or day before yesterday. This has been happening for the last 30-35 years. That absolutely undeniable fact. Yes, the new phenomenon that we're seeing over the last year or so, this thing called hybrid terror, where sometimes local elements are involved, 1 or 2 lone wolf attacks are happening, and individuals who have nothing to do, with what's going on in Kashmir, who have nothing to do with the politics there. They are simply... One second. Please tell me, what fault was it of Manish Kumar, Ram Sagar and PK Bhatt, other than the fact that they were perhaps Hindu, or in the case of the 2 laborers, they were non-locals, they were non-Kashmiri? What fault, what did they die for? You please tell me that.
Zaka Saab, what difference does it make firstly, what difference does it make a terrorist or a hybrid terror or enemy-sponsored terror? The point is that somebody is getting killed. We need to look at terror, not its manifestations. The point is that we have terror and our security grid is failing to counter that.
No, it makes a huge difference. Majid Saab, it makes a huge difference who is being killed and why he or she is being killed. Like I said, in the case of PK Bhatt, the only reason he was killed is because he's a Kashmiri Pandit. And the reason he was killed was that to send a chilling effect to the remaining 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 Pandits who are living and working in Kashmir, that leave this place. You don't belong here. That is the intention of this killing.
No, certainly I do agree with you on that. But has government come up with any formal statement? Has New Delhi come up with any formal statement that these targeted killings are taking place because of A, B, C? No. New Delhi has been silent, and that is my point. Now let Shazia Almi Saiba say, why is the government silent when she keeps talking?
Okay, Shazia, say, respond to what Majid is saying. Okay.
I think New Delhi has never been clearer, and I think it's for everybody to see. The international community and the citizens of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. I want to ask you, Majid Saab, you just said that LG administration is doing the very best and they need to do more. And we need not ask questions of Farooq Abdullah or Mehbooba Mufti. But when there is a kind of justification, as we hear, that see, you removed 370, Article 370, abrogated it, nothing came out of it, and this is how it is. So when you justify or condone or become an apologist for these targeted killings based on religion and religion alone, and when we talk about a factor and we talk about hybrid terrorism, which means there is support of locals too, surely the mentality which says that which condones this also has to be condemned completely. And don't you think that these brutal killings that have happened and absolutely merciless, the mentality behind this, that that we will be apologists for the jihadist elements there who are killing our Hindu brethren, that mentality also has to be blamed. So which is why questions must be asked of Farooq Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti and all those who support and actually want to cock a snook at the center, saying that, oh, you abrogated 370. See what's happening.
No,
It's very clear
there
that
is an
because of that
attempt.
but a normal
There is an
you want
attempt,
them-
I think, by
them
the
president, all is not
establishment, the established political parties in Kashmir, whether it's NC, PDP, etc., to try and draw a correlation, Ahmed Ayaz. Every time there is a killing, a targeted killing, if it's a Pandit or a non-local, there seems to be this attempt by Mehbooba Mufti, by the Abdullahs, that look, all this is because 370 was abrogated. Fact of the matter is, and I'm sticking my neck out here and saying, no political party which is in power at the center or may come to power in the center is in a position to bring back Article 370. The ground has shifted from beneath your feet. There is no going back to Article 370. So it's about time that the Kashmiri parties understood this reality, that no matter which political party may be in power in New Delhi, 370 is history. And to draw these sort of untenable comparisons that just because 370 has gone, targeted killings are happening, I don't think that is helping, least of all, the cause of the Kashmiri Muslim. Ultimately, I'm a firm believer that a majority of Kashmiri Muslims just want to get on with their basic lives and livelihoods, and this is coming in the way of that. These targeted killings are coming in the way of that.
Yes.
Ahmed Ayaz.
You see, I must tell you that, see, everybody would be interested to see that the politics is done on the issue. There's no doubt about it. If at all it is being done by the Farooq Abdullah or Mehbooba Mufti or anybody else, BJP. I mean, there is nothing surprising. But the question is that how responsibly they make the politics, that's important. But before that, certainly things are not well, as you initially told. Things are not well in Kashmir. And it's not that what Shahjah says, me say, or somebody else says. It is what we sense from the ground, right from the, even if we take only the cases right from Rahul Pandit till the killing of these two laborers yesterday. I mean, you see how many people have been targeted, and then the Kashmiri Pandits who are coming in, who are working there, they too have fled away. And thereafter, how many people have been killed, somewhere in the school, somewhere in the office. So definitely, it's not that anybody can say that things are so well. So to say that things are well and everything is being done, I don't think that's the question.
But the question is, Ahmed Ayaz Saab, why are things not well? Things are not well because certain people, and you know, obviously no one's going to make the comparison between terrorists and mainstream politicians, but let's face it, that there were certain people who benefited from the old system who are now saying that all of this is because you've taken away an article, which is not the case. The fact is that 370 is gone. This is the new reality in Kashmir. And if a majority of the people they have come to accept this reality, then जिनके राजनीतिक रोटियां अभी सेक नहीं रहे हैं, सिर्फ वही लोग बोल रहे हैं ना कि ये सब 370 को हटाने की वजह से है.
I was coming to that people will try to make a politics out of it. They definitely will try. After all, they have to have something to sell. What they will sell, they will have to decide. And possibly they have taken a point of 370 to sell in the public in coming elections, the way BJP was in the past taking about price rise and etc. Of course, there is nothing surprising, but that's what I say. Point is that in view of the existing present situation, how seriously and how responsibly somebody should take, that's important. And we don't see also, while they are behaving somewhat irresponsible, there we don't see the policies of the government also changing. We see again the same security men facing the gun who was the way he was facing in the 90s. And there is no change in the policy.
Ashok Pandit, how will things change? If Farooq Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti are accused of not changing or not living up to the realities of the times, then the same can be said of the security establishment. That's Ahmed Ayaz's point.
No, my point is situations are not changing.
Ashok Pandit, please. I
will clarify.
No,
my
1 second, sir.
My point is that
one second.
we see only security people facing the situation.
Okay.
That's what I say.
Okay, I heard
there
you.
Is no
I heard
change
you. Let Ashok Pandit respond to you now. Yeah.
Zaka, I refuse to accept that there is no change. Because on the ground level, the way people are coming out, the way people have gained confidence, there is no doubt about it. The way the security forces have been given the total powers, the way the terrorists are being killed, There is a massive difference. There is no, if I can't see that, then I'm a blind person. I don't want to accept it. I want to ask one question to these people, all the terrorist supporters, that and the local political parties, that you are blaming 370 abrogation for these killings. Killings are happening since 1989 when 370 was there. So why are you comparing or associating 370 with the killings of Kashmiri Pandits or the non-locals or others who think they are Indians? 370 is nothing to do with the killing. The reason why Kashmiri Pandit is being killed or the non-local has been killed or any Indian has been killed is basically for these terror organizations supported by the local political parties to prove that they still exist. That they still exist and they still control Jammu, they still control Kashmir. And that's why we are the soft targets there. Whom will they kill? They'll kill us because we don't have ammunitions, we don't have security around us. So we are soft targets. They will not kill a local politician or political parties. They are still backed by the Farooq Abdullahs who has nursed terrorism in Kashmir. They are still backed by Mehbooba Mufti who has nursed terrorism in Kashmir, she and her father. So all these people, the local political parties who have lost total ground there, who are totally indebted to the politics, who are not asked for now, who have lost total control, are supporting these hybrid terrorism now to see to it that they still exist.
So where
that is the basic reason and nothing else.
At one level, do you agree with what Ashok Pandit is saying, that the terrorists are doing this targeted killings, A, for the chilling effect, B, to send out the signal that non-locals and Hindus and Kashmiri Pandits are not welcome, and most importantly, they are doing this for their own relevance after the abrogation of Article 370. And mainstream political parties which have a point to prove or which have a relevance to prove with the going away of Article 370, they are also latching on to this by linking all the killings to the fact that 370 has been abrogated. So it's you scratch my back and I scratch yours.
As long as I am concerned, I don't think that militancy has...
SP Vaid Saab. Sorry, SP Vaid Saab. Thank you.
Zaka, I absolutely agree with Ashok Pandit what he said. In fact, these are the reasons why they are being targeted. Kashmiri Pandits and outside labor is being targeted because outsiders are not welcome to send this message to sabotage the development process of the Honorable Prime Minister and the Government of India. And the elected members of the Panchayat are being targeted because democracy, grassroots democracy, which was established after elections to the Panchayat, three-tier Panchayat system, and thousands of crores of money coming for the development of Kashmir. That is actually anathema to Pakistan. So J&K police personnel are being attacked because they are actively participating anti-terrorist. So this is with very, very clear strategy. As far as drawing parallel to 370, in 90s, as Ashok Pandit was saying, when 370 was even then targeted killing was taking.
Correct.
So this is, you absolutely rightly put it, that you scratch my back, I scratch your back. But there are, see, as far as sincerity of the government is concerned, both union government and the UT government, no one can doubt so many changes. You saw yesterday's visuals. The board was brought down. The very same Hurriyat which led on behalf of Pakistan this stone pelting and terrorism in Kashmir Valley and ruined every home in Kashmir Valley. Today, look at the change in atmosphere. Oh, so much of development projects which are coming up, medical colleges. You see in Pakistan, POK, there's not even one medical college. Today you are coming up 10 medical colleges. For a small place like J&K Union Territory, IIT, IIMs, AIMS, you name it. And
all right. Vaid Saab, I'm really out of time. I want to thank all our guests. All I'll say is this, that, people who are thinking that 370 can be brought back or that we will go back to the old normal as it existed, they are living in a pipe dream. Having said that, is the targeted killing of Hindus, Kashmiri Pandits, a problem that the government needs to address and address as quickly as possible? Yes, it is. And they need to be given a sense of security, especially the 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 Pandits who are living, many of them in camps. They need to be given the assurance and the feeling that this land is theirs and they will be protected in this land and they will not be singularly selected to be killed because of either their religion or their ethnicity. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, the dilemma over stray dogs is back in focus after a very vicious case here in the Delhi NCR region of a 7-month-old baby who is mauled to death by a stray dog in a gated community in Noida. That story and more when Brass Tax returns.
State elections, Gujarat, Himachal and the larger picture for 2024. Is the Congress already readying a game plan to tackle those very important and immediate challenges?
Absolutely right. And that's a factor where we all should be working towards it. No denying about that. But ma'am, let the person win. I mean, let's see who wins and who comes forward. Instead of just deciding what he'll become or not, let him take the charge and then a roadmap can be done. Congress always had a future, always had a vision. Unlike the BJP, never had a vision. They talk about the dollar going up and the money.
No, but ma'am, having a vision on paper is fine. But is that vision actually turning into reality is the question that possibly the Congress needs to ask. Because in terms of the electoral success, and I agree with the point that Rashid is making, that once the Congress starts getting the electoral success, you will have other things falling into place. Post the loss that they've seen in Punjab, look at an Aam Aadmi party. They're trying to increase their inroads. You already have a very aggressive BJP. They're already getting their top leadership on the ground as far as Gujarat is concerned. What is the Congress doing?
All right. I would like to answer that. You see, ma'am, if they want to play event, if they want to have all the wrong narratives said, so be it. In the long term, this is not what the country is going to gain. I mean, we are right. We are here to win elections. We are not here to give sermons. But having said that, I mean, is it right to just play with the country and with the emotions and putting fake narratives of hate speeches, of not bother about inflation, not bother employment? Is that how you are going to move the country forward? And Nirmala ji goes abroad and says, oh, the dollar is rising. Just imagine the narrative these people are setting.
Let's not mix the topics, Dr. Onika. The day we're discussing about the economy, we'll give an invitation to the Congress party and we'll have a fair discussion. But sticking to the topic that we're discussing, RP Singh, how do you respond to what Dr. Onika is saying, that at least let the election conclude? Why are we already working with hypothetical situations? You know, let's have a clear winner. 19th is when we'll all know the winner.
We all know who the winner is, we all know what has happened, and we all know the message was already there. It's all through this remote control system the new president will work. As it worked, the Prime Minister worked. Did you ever heard Prime Minister utter a word when Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister? I mean, files used to go to 10 Janpads. File was cleared by 10 Janpads. We all know that. Everything was done by 10 Janpads. The coterie of the 10 Janpads used to decide what to do, what not to do. Same thing will happen now also. It's not going to change. Only thing is that just putting another pawn instead of another pawn. They tried on Gehlot, who revolted, the local Chhatwar revolted against the dynasty. Now they have got another man to represent them. That's all what the Congress is. Ultimately, it's a dynasty which is going to run it. It's two Gandhis and two Vadras who are going to run the Congress. And they will decide what is the future of Congress. But ultimately, what Mr. Kadwai said, they are not getting into electoral politics. Where are they in Gujarat today? Where are they in Himachal today? They're not being seen in Himachal and Gujarat.
Okay. We'll really have to see how this plays out. As I said, 19th is when the Congress party will get a new president and also a non-Gandhi at the helm of the party. Will this actually pave way for change? Only time will tell us. Spokesperson of the BJP, RP Singh, continues to be with us. Congress spokesperson Dr. Onika Mehrotra also now joining us. We have author Advaita Kala also on the panel, and we also have author and senior journalist Rashid Kitwai. Good to have all of you on the broadcast with us. Dr. Onika, let me begin the discussion with you. The Congress from day one has been saying that this is a democratic process. We are a party that respect everybody. It's a fair opportunity that has been given. All that was fine till the time you had various party members and leaders who came out and openly supported Mallikarjun Kharge, indicating that this is somebody who has the backing of the Gandhis and thus is the favorable candidate. Doesn't that then completely negate the entire process of an election?
I fail to understand if I am supporting somebody or A or B is supporting somebody else. On what grounds can you say that if somebody is backed by so and so? Each delegate has his own secret ballot to vote for, by the way, and each one to his own choice. And the party categorically said, if you want to campaign for a particular candidate, you have to resign from the person who you're free to do it. So each one to his own. I have my own choice, so it's okay. There's no compulsion. So people who are talking about the rubber stamp or a backing, let them peep into their perspective first. Let them have a look at what they are doing in the country and what havoc they are playing around with. They are talking about rubber stamp and elections and selection. What are they doing there, ma'am? We have a record. We have a record of 137 years, ma'am. And everything is clear. You've seen how many people have contested. And I'm told the sixth time there have been election, who's contested and who's won, and it goes on. And anything, what is called.
No, the only question that I'm raising, and I'm not saying this as any political representative, I'm just saying this as a common citizen of the country, that if you start backing one candidate over the other, what does it mean for the second candidate who still possibly feels he has a fair shot as far as the elections are concerned? And more importantly, what does it feel as far as the election process is concerned? If you do have a backing, why not keep it to yourself till the time the elections are over? But RP is saying, let me bring you in the conversation. The Congress is saying this is an internal process for us. At least we have one. The BJP doesn't even have one.
Well, they are not aware of the BJP internal processes. We have elections every 3 years, and then our party president is elected through a process of election from the polling booth to the national level. There's a complete process for that. But yes, they are holding this after almost 24 years.
Can you tell us the process?
Did I interrupt you, ma'am? Did I hold on? Hold your gun. Hold your gun.
Can you please tell us the process? Let the country know.
Good evening. The stray dog population menace has hit our cities once again, this time in Noida, which is in the Delhi National Capital Region, where a stray dog mauled and killed a 7-month-old baby inside a posh gated community. The child happens to be the child of a labourer who works in that compound, while residents of the community, some of them are visibly angry, as are ordinary residents of Delhi NCR. The question is also, if this were not a poor man's kid, wouldn't there have been outrage on the streets? Also, when will dog lovers accept the reality that some dogs are simply too dangerous and there is no place in a civilized society where a human being is killed at the hands of a rabid dog? But first, the story so far.
Massive protests in an apartment complex in Noida after a 7-month-old was mauled to death by a stray dog. The infant's parents are labourers and were doing construction work in the Lotus Boulevard society. The baby was lying near them when a stray dog attacked the infant, even pulling out his intestines. The baby was rushed to hospital for emergency surgery, but he couldn't pull through. Now, residents have accused civic authorities of not doing enough to control stray dogs.
They are clearly angry with the Noida police and with the action which has not been taken by the Noida authority in the same, because continuously Noida has been in the reason for the dog attacks in the last few months now.
Noida authority officials have vowed to take stray dogs to shelters.
पहले हमने स्टरलाइजेशन शुरू किया, दूसरे पे फिर हमने ये शुरू किया कि अगर डॉग बाइट कोई डॉग जो है बार बार काट रहा है तो उसको जो है ले जाके शेल्टर होम में रखना और 1 महीने तक उसको सुधारना और उसके बाद वापस छोड़ना। चूंकि माननीय न्यायालय के ऐसी गाइडलाइंस हैं, हम कुत्ते को पूरी तरीके से कहीं से भी डिस्पोजेस नहीं कर सकते हैं।
But it's not just in Noida. Stray dogs are causing panic in Kerala as well. Multiple instances have come to light of stray dogs attacking bystanders, sometimes leading to deaths. So much so that the Kerala government has moved the Supreme Court seeking culling of dangerous strays. The news is not comforting when it comes to pet dogs either. Disturbing videos have come to light of pet dogs biting strangers in elevators in the presence of their owners. A kid in Ghaziabad got 150 stitches on his face after he was attacked by a pit bull in a park. Another scary video shows a pit bull clinging to a cow's jaws in Kanpur. So do we need stricter norms to deal with rise in dog attacks?
All right, is it time for stricter laws, or perhaps even a relook at past judgments of courts, including the Supreme Court? Stray dog menace or mismanagement? You can call us at 01204341895. I want to bring in our guests who are joining us this evening on the show. Vaibhav Chibbar is the president of the Resident Welfare Association of Lotus Boulevard Society, where this latest case happened. Gauri Molekhi is an animal rights activist. Dinkar Pandey is vice president of NEFOA. And Shahzada Sodhi is a dogophile. Let me start with Mr. Chibbar. You heard from the Noida authorities. They come to your society. They have made some assurances. They have said that treatment was meted out to this child. Unfortunately, the doctors could not save him. Are you satisfied with the response of the civic authorities, or do you believe that the civic authorities can do much more when it comes to the menace of stray dogs?
Thank you so much, but I'm not the president. I'm the resident of that place.
Okay, sure.
And we are absolutely satisfied. We are absolutely satisfied with the action plan, because when we complained about the incident, we had the authority guys coming, walking to the gate in next 1 hour. But the problem has been in our society for quite some time long, and we have been facing these problems. We have been raising complaints, but action on ground has not been taken on to the right time. So this time, because we lost a kid, we are all concerned about it, and we are really very, very in a sad situation, and we are trying to do whatever best is possible. But I think as citizens, we have to be more responsible in our action plan to how do we actually deal this menace, because there are court rules, and there is a society, and there are animals. So we need to find a midway where adjustments can be made and everybody can live in peace and harmony.
Okay, I want to ask Gauri Molekhi, as per the animal birth control rules that were drafted by the centre a few years ago, it contravenes all state and municipal acts which mandate the removal of straying animals from streets and public places, both for the protection of people as well as animals. India has the highest number of rabies cases in the world. Around 33% of all rabies cases in the world happen in India, followed by Congo. According to a conservative WHO estimate, there are about 20,000 annual rabies deaths in India. Is it time, Gauri Molekhi, that we come together, sit down on the table and address this as a real problem, particularly in our urban centers? Why should 20,000 people die in our country because of rabies in this day and age?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. These are unnecessary deaths which can be prevented, and a regime had been brought in, recommended by the World Health Organization, which was adopted as a set of rules in India, not just a few years ago, but 22 years ago. The statutory responsibility of local authorities is to run a robust animal birth control program. If we just look at this incident that has happened in Noida very dispassionately and just to diagnose where and who went wrong, I'd say squarely it is the fault of the Noida authority. For the past 3-4 years, we've been telling them that the program is riddled with corruption, and hardly any sterilization is happening, and a lot of relocation is happening. People want dogs out of their societies. They're picked up and thrown somewhere else in some other locality where they fight for territory, and aggression gets aggravated. This is a result of exactly that. It was a ticking time bomb, very unfortunate and avoidable situation. Only if we learn to mend our ways now and run a proper, robust, scientific animal birth control program, and not probably go back to the municipal corporation law era of the British, when Indians and dogs and whatever were not allowed in certain areas, and that did not solve the problem. I mean, during the municipal corporation laws, when they were enforced, did that solve the problem of dogs? No, it did not. For centuries, it did not, which is why for developing countries that have an urban solid waste problem, there are scavenging animals, and to get rid of them, one has to apply science. You cannot have an eye for an eye and let's kill all the dogs right now, or let's remove them and put them in some shelters. It's not going to be scientific. Moreover, the rules provide that if a dog is aggressive, then in the animal birth control center, it can be put under observation, which where it can either die of rabies, or if it mends its ways.
But Gauri Molekhi, why then is in a country like ours, the estimate of the number of dogs that have been sterilized is less than 10% out of a possible 60 million dogs across the country less than 6 million have been sterilized. Surely then you would agree that there is a problem of non-sterilized dogs, and particularly in urban centers like Delhi NCR, or you saw what happened in Kerala a few months ago. If you have a large number of non-sterilized dogs out there, surely it's an invitation to kill.
Zero resources by the center towards the animal birth control program. Municipal corporation not even understanding their duty, let alone trying to implement it properly, and state governments not monitoring the animal birth control program as has been directed by the Honorable Supreme Court. These are the gaps.
Okay,
If only
I've got a bunch
could
of callers. I want to go to them
resources-
first, and then I'll go across back to the rest of our guests. Mr. Kulamani Mishra is calling us from Bhubaneswar. Mr. Mishra, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Go ahead with your question, yes.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead with your question. I can hear you.
Actually, this dog menace is very distressing, and in our colony also, it is a colony of 210 families. The pet dog kept by the owners or tenants is also highly distressing and disturbing. When we are going inside the lift, one dog is coming from top floor, and it harms the new entrant inside the lift. So this has to be stopped. There are new rules to be framed, wherein a dog time should be fixed, that from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. dogs can be allowed inside the lift. Other times dogs should not be allowed inside the lift.
All right,
The
let me
dog
also
owner
go
should
across
take
to
the
our next
dog.
caller. Thank you very much, Mr. Mishra. Vimla is calling us from Pune. Good evening, ma'am. Go ahead with your question, please.
Yes, just about the stray dogs, it has become a nuisance actually. In each and every corner of the road, minimum 7 dogs will be waiting there. And when we go, small children, behind our children, they are running and they are just getting injured. So I don't know what will be the solution for this. It should be stopped, because,
All right, thank
it
you
is
for your
very
call.
difficult for
Harish
us
is
to
calling us from Chennai. Harish, good evening. What is your question, sir?
I don't have a question. I have a solution for your problems. See, I'm 60 years old. For the past 38 years, I'm training dogs, and I'm with dogs, and I handle very rough dogs. The problem I've seen in all these years, all these dog attacks started after you people started castrating the dogs. That is one of the worst things you should do. They get frustrated. Don't stop that first. Second thing, what I advise you people, whatever the government or whoever the authority is, let the dogs be allowed to mingle in the public, and let the children be trained on dogs and all this. Just a finger and your attitude can stop any dog from attacking anybody.
All right,
Even
Harish,
a
thanks very
5-year-old
much for that. Dinkar Pandey is Vice President of NIFOA. Shahzada Sodhi is also joining us. Dinkar Pandey, it comes back to the Animal Welfare Board of India, which has come up with rules which suggest that the victims in this case are really dogs. In fact, an AWI circular says that a person getting in the way of a dog can be perceived as an example of provocation. And citing these rules, oftentimes what happens is stray dog feeders frequently threaten residents, and therefore RWAs do not want to come in the way because they are often threatened with an FIR for criminal intimidation. Is it time that these rules are changed, Dinkar Pandey?
Yeah, right. And I'll talk about more comprehensive way, because everyone is talking about problem, right? Nobody is talking about impact. I'll cite some examples. There were some dogs in nearby society, I'll name it in Fusion, some time ago. And by the time authority catches it, it took toll of at least 8 residents. Recently, one lady was attacked by a group of dogs, and she was not provoking. She was mature enough and fit enough. She got spinal cord injury, and she's on verge of losing her job. I'll take example, even my kid got attacked by cord, bitten from back, and she lost school for so many days. We are not talking about impacts. See, strays are not here to stay in your home, right? There are certain other spaces for them. We all are saying that dogs and men can go together. We are talking about dogs' rights. We are not talking about men's rights, human rights, right?
Okay.
In society, if you are going to parking, a group of dogs starts barking and charging towards you. How much capable you are to fight all those attacks together, right? So all the animal lovers should understand that we also are animal lover. We are not against. But then there should be rules framed, and not only framed. There are so much rules by authorities, by Supreme Court, by government, but how many are being implemented on ground?
No, in
No,
fact,
nothing, right?
some are arguing that the rules are also coming in the way. The rules are also a problem, as indeed judgments laid out by the Delhi High Court and the Supreme Court. Let me ask Shehzada Sodi this. In fact, earlier this year, in May of 2022, the Supreme Court, a 3-judge bench, had vacated a stay on a Delhi High Court order which said that stray dogs have a right to food and water and citizens have the right to feed them, which basically means it paves the way for community dogs to be fed either at private driveways or porches or spots that are designated in consultation with RWAs, which means it is incumbent on the local police to ensure that no caregiver or community dog feeder is harassed. Now, if these are the rules, if these are the judgments of the court, then surely, like I said, it's an invitation for these strays to kill.
First of all, it's very unfortunate that has happened in Noida. And the second thing is, as an animal lover, as a feeder, I feed dogs every day. And I'm also harassed every day by the public and the people where I go and feed. But over the years, I have understood that I have to make the changes. How can I feed the animals? And I'm not against the people as well. So I've chosen times and places where animals can be fed in a separate area or closer to the grounds or closer to the main road. So it doesn't get into the way of the people that are staying there. But if you say that you cannot have dogs in the public places, then where will they go? It has to be, you have to make animal feeders the stakeholders in all these things. But we are harassed in a lot of ways. It's only when it goes beyond a point that we go and file an FIR or we ask our people to come with us and to help us out. But it's very rare. It's most of the time 9 out of 10 people are harassing animal feeders, to be genuine.
No, but Mr. Sodi, what will you say to the family that lost the 7-month-old child today? I mean, you're saying that dogs have to have rights to public places just like humans do. But what about modern cities across the world? You don't see stray dogs in New York or in London. But obviously, somebody is taking care of these strays. It's not like there are no strays in those cities. The point is, are we going to develop those facilities for strays in our country, or are we just going to say they have as much right to public places as we do?
No, I'm not saying. It's very sad that the family has lost a child. I'm not saying that it happened. It shouldn't have happened. But in India, it's not New York or London. No, we should first even think of this. India is not New York or London, that you are comparing our cities, our towns with those cities. I'm only saying that the animal feeders, because the blame is always put on animal feeders. In the last 10, 15, 20 years, I have understood that I need to make changes in the way I feed or I take care of the dogs.
Okay.
You have to select a place because wherever you start feeding the dogs, they feel that it is their territory. So anybody who comes there, they feel threatened and whatever aggression is there. And obviously people also abuse the animals. So it's both ways, but in a way, animal feeders should also take care the way they feed the animals. And if they find that certain
I'm sure all of us are accustomed to scenes of dogs being fed right in front of society gates. I mean,
that is not correct.
And that is where the problem is, that if you are going to feed dogs right outside society gates, they're going to think that is their turf, and they're going to do whatever it takes to protect that turf. No, so let me get some more callers in, please, because I think our viewers across the country, whether it is in gated communities or outside urban centers, seem to have very, very strong opinions on this. Let me get Aarti from Noida. She's our next caller. Aarti, good evening, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, I find it very, I am also an animal lover. But at the same time, it is just not acceptable because either the government should own up the responsibility. If they're not ready to make any laws against it, then they should own up all these strays and make some kind of a shelter home where they can be left there. And what is there, this concept of territory? I mean, they have a territory, but human beings don't have a territory, which is very strange. I don't understand what emotional stress they will go through if they don't have a territory. I mean, we have more than 100 residents in our society who have been affected by their constant biting, sometimes dread even sending their kids to the society park, because these suddenly they come chasing.
Thank you very much for your call. Let me also get in Manoj, who's our next caller. He's calling us from Delhi. Yes, Manoj. Yes, Mr. Manoj, go ahead.
Chandrasekhar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacob, hi. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I'm very disheartened to see that the law, which is very clearly written, which is very clearly there, that people should feed the dogs at a designated place, it is hardly followed by the citizens.
Okay.
And it is not the police, not the authority, but the citizens which are making mockery of these rules. And the so-called animal activists and NGOs, they are the people, who are, creating nuisance.
All right. Thank you very much for your call. Let me ask Gauri Molekhi to respond to that. You heard a sampling of callers who are all saying that the problem is with the people who are feeding these strays. You go back to the Supreme Court rulings, it's very clear that it has to be in designated places. And you know from the experience that all of us have seen over the years, and particularly so during the pandemic and after, that, anywhere and everywhere the strays are fed. And that's the problem.
Okay, so I'm going to make 4 short points. One is that the rules are not made by the Animal Welfare Board of India. They're made by the central government and the parliament, right? So these are not rules that have just come up because people like dogs. They're based on the WHO's approved program for all developing countries which are facing with a solid waste problem. We are not New York. Please don't compare us with New York. We are people who throw garbage in front of our homes. We have tons of garbage in our urban centers, and hence there are scavenging animals. You remove them in a Chairman Mao removing sparrow kind of way, and we'll call some natural calamity upon ourselves, like China gave itself the world's biggest famine. So we have to be scientific when we deal with animals. We cannot have these knee-jerk, unscientific, whimsical solutions for stuff. So that's my point number 1. The second is that feeding animals has its own benefits. If there are dogs in the neighborhood and if they are fed, they remain friendly, and it's easier to catch them for sterilizing and neutering them, and for various rounds of vaccination that happens later. It's not nice to have scared, ferocious dogs in the neighborhood which are sick, and then it would spread more diseases and more threat of bites. Better to have designated places where animals are fed. Surely there should be discipline in that. Surely the Delhi High Court order has repeatedly said that feeding areas should be designated, and anybody who feeds animals on staircases or in front of gates or in parks is not correct, and it should be regulated. But I think the larger responsibility, statutory responsibility, falls on the local authorities to run a robust animal birth control program. Wherever we see it being run, it is riddled with corruption, or it's done in a haphazard, patchworky manner, no strategy, no application of mind. If you look at Goa, you were talking about rabies. Look at Goa. Since 2017, there's no rabies over there at all because of a proper animal birth control program that was being run over there. Same with Jaipur or Chennai. The rabies cases have completely gone because they've run a proper animal birth control program. Now, Uttarakhand has done the same. Lucknow has a very good animal birth control program, but Noida authorities are rogue because it doesn't come under the urban development department, it's industrial development or whatever. So they have their own little problems due to which animal birth control takes a very low priority, and they only realize it when an unfortunate incident like yesterday comes up.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Dinkar Pandey, Vaibhav, Shahzada, and of course Gauri Molekhi for joining us. This is a continuing problem. Today it was seen in Noida. We had pictures a few days ago from Kerala. This is a problem that our urban planners, our civic authorities, even our animal lovers have to come to terms with and have to deal. Yes, the court has laid down guidelines that there should be designated places that these strays should be fed. But are we following that? Who is implementing that? Who is regulating that? These are questions that are worth asking. That's a wrap. Thank you for your time.
watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. The demise of Jayalalithaa in December 2016 led to a tectonic shift in the politics of Tamil Nadu, leading to a power vacuum and factional war for the top party post, which continues even today. But questions have persisted over the sudden deterioration of health and death of the former Chief Minister of the state. The previous AIADMK government, in what many saw as a political move, constituted an investigation panel headed by retired Madras High Court Judge Justice Aru Mugaswamy. The panel commenced its hearings in 2017 and went into aspects such as the late Chief Minister's hospitalization in September 2016 and the treatment provided to her. The 608-page report was tabled today in the Tamil Nadu Assembly and has made some startling revelations, putting the spotlight on VK Sasikala, the once close aide of Jayalalithaa, who under the reign of the late Chief Minister was the second most powerful figure in the party. Now let me give you a sense of the key takeaways of this 608-page report, which claims that Jayalalithaa and Sasikala did not have cordial ties. Let's not forget that in a period from 2011 November till 2012 April, Jayalalithaa had ensured that her home, that is the Poise Garden residence, did not have Sasikala. She had asked Sasikala to leave her home. So this is what the report is also highlighting. Angioplasty was not done despite the suggestion that was made from the top doctors of UK and US. So why wasn't it done? Despite her heart condition not right, is the question that is being asked. Suggestion to provide treatment abroad was ignored. Why wasn't she taken abroad to a super specialty hospital for further treatment? Is the question that is being asked by this panel report. Jayalalithaa, remember, passed away on December 4th. The announcement, the formal announcement was made only on December 5th. Why was there a delay of 24 hours in this official announcement? What is being said in this report is that the official announcement was intentionally delayed and that the doctors wanted to give this impression that they tried their best to revive the former Chief Minister. Sternotomy, which is a procedure that allows a doctor to reach your heart or nearby organs and blood vessels, and CPR were done to distort this time of death, is what the report is highlighting. Now let me give you a sense of what AIIMS then, that is the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, had said post Jayalalitha's death, because it turns it on its head quite literally. The AIIMS report, remember, had said that there were no errors in medical care, that in those 75 days that Jayalalithaa was at Apollo Hospital in Chennai, she received all the required medical care that was needed for her treatment. Now the report here, that is the panel report of the former Justice, actually is highlighting that the angiosurgery, that is the angioplasty which is needed for the heart, was not done despite suggestion by a team of doctors from the UK and the United States. The second point now, the AIIMS report says that the treatment was given as per correct medical practice. However, the pro-panel report is saying that the suggestion that was made by the doctors that she should be taken abroad for further treatment was ignored. So again, questions being raised about what really happened in those 75 days. Was the line of treatment not correct? Well, the report says, yes, it was not correct. The AIIMS report, remember, is saying that there is no evidence of heart failure. But the probe report is saying that the time of death was distorted. Now let me give you a further sense of what the panel is recommending and what are the charges. Who are the people who are now being blamed